Good evening. We're back. This is Manina, your girl with Legacy BookBar Sip and Chat. This is episode 6, and tonight I have author Michelle Warren of the title book, The Exploration of Her. Before we get started, I just want to share a heartfelt message. Michelle, turn your sound down. There you go. So, for those that don't know, I am the vice president of an organization called Empowered Women in Business International. I am the chapter vice president of this organization. And over the last 2 weeks, our organization has been hit with some unfortunate circumstances with our members. When I say that, our president, Nakia Harvey, who tunes in almost every week, her daughters were in a horrific fatal accident. And unfortunately, she lost one of her daughters, and the other one is still in the hospital. Today was the wake, and tomorrow is the funeral. Due to my work schedule, I won't be able to attend. But I wanted her to hear me say, you are in my prayers. I love you. If there's anything that you need, please feel free to reach out. You know, I do my bi-daily check-in to make sure you are okay. And whatever you need, as Empowered Women in Business International, as an organization, we are there for you. A little bit about our group. We were able to go to her house this week and be there in comfort for her, as we would any of our members that has suffered a tragic loss. Nakia, I can't imagine what you and your husband are going through right now, but just know, cyber hugs, COVID, I am here for you. And if I could be there tomorrow, I would. So from me to you, from Legacy to you, I love you. Thank you so much for giving me that opportunity to give that heartfelt message to Nakia and her family. So I was able to meet this wonderful, crazy, eccentric, silly, heartfelt, sweet woman, Michelle Warren, late November of last year at the Divine Legacy Book Soiree in Durham, North Carolina. And I was there as the first time I had been a part of the soiree, and I actually launched my business, Legacy BookBar. So we actually got there at the same time to set up. And when I tell you, she just blew me away with her personality. So, she came up to me, she was like, so what you selling? What you got? So I explained, every time you see in the Divine Legacy Facebook group, and it was Legacy BookBar, I was the owner of Legacy BookBar. So I explained to her the process, what I was doing, why I wanted to do it. And before we left that weekend, she was like, here are 5 of them. So when I tell you that on the strength of what you're trying to do, I'm here for it. What I was doing, when I wanted to do it, here for it. So, Michelle, welcome to Legacy BookBar.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Good. So, before we get into the book, because we're going to talk about the book, okay? We're not going to give all the secrets away, because then I got to bring you back for the book club. So we're going to give enough away so we can tease the audience and have them go to the website and purchase the book. So before we get I know a little bit about you, but let's tell our studio audience a little bit about yourself. So tell us about, how did you become a writer?
I've always written. It was my stress relief. That's how it was my world to get away from everything going on in real life. Mm-hmm. So, and then it became my therapy.
Okay.
talking to different people, getting their reactions. Then it became my fun getting folks' reaction when I write a certain way. That was always the most hilarity. I enjoy making people see what I see, but not using additional pictures. My words made them. I want to paint this picture and have their mind just explode. I love it.
Okay. And I can't wait for us to delve a little bit into that, into your creativity of your story. Oh wait, we got some studio guests in that have left some messages. We want to always acknowledge them. I have Karen and my Washington. I got Tamika Busby. I have Nisi Brown. Everyone has said good evening and hi to us. I have Tavoris Turner, Kay Soy, and Tavares said, I'm buying the book. Well, I hope so you can be ready for the book club. And if you would like, you are more than welcome to go to www.legacybookbar.com to purchase The Exploration of Her, as well as see all of the other wonderful books that we have in stock. So tell us, you decided to write this story, okay? So letting the audience know this story is erotica.
Yes, it is.
Not personal part.
You just have to have your pearls ready to clutch because I'm going to take you there.
Clutch the pearls, absolutely.
I'm going to take you all the way there.
Absolutely. So when you decided to become a writer, what made you decide on this particular genre?
Well, it actually is backwards. I was writing, I've always written, like I say, for fun, especially after, got real for me. Writing became fun. So on my Facebook groups, Facebook, Writers Wednesday came about. Well, I've always had a dirty mind, and it was easy for me to write, and I got such a reaction. It chose me more than I chose it.
Understood. Okay.
And then after some time, I had a really good friend who I think we was one of the challenges in our road. And one guy told me, he says, "Why are you broke? Why are you not? What's going on?" I couldn't figure out what he was saying, but he read me the writing. He said, "Why aren't you doing something with this?" And me being totally confused, he says, "You can write like that, but you're not published. Why?" I never thought about it. It was fun for me. It was therapeutic for me. I never thought
to go forward.
And that's what started this journey. The genre was before I decided to do a book.
Okay. So I know, because again, I know you, and you went the more self-publishing route than the traditional publishing route. Tell us about that.
Well, one, because when you do your research, you realize that I don't want someone to come in and tell me how my book is going to be written and how my story is going to come across. Because although it is erotica, there's an understanding lesson that I have in the bottom of the book that I want you all to understand. This is about women understanding themselves and bonding. I didn't want anyone to take it to push it into one space or the other. I wanted it the way I wanted it. And then I also wanted someone, to be able to walk me through it, because I wanted to see the whole creative process, not someone tell me where I can and can't do it. That wasn't going to work for me.
Gotcha. 1 second. Do you have your phone and your laptop on at the same time?
My phone's on the bed. It's across the room.
Do you have two devices broadcasting at the same time? No?
Hold on. That help?
Turn your volume down a little, only because it's a little bit of a background noise, and I want to make sure that the audience can hear you.
Yeah. Hold on, because my life happens. Okay, come on, go off and leave me alone now. Now, I cut the streaming device off. So is that a little bit better?
That's good. Okay.
Okay, I had to cut it off.
Okay. No, so we're good. So now we're back to our regular schedule program. Thank you for sticking with us while we work with that. Appreciate it. So back to the reason why you self-publish. So quite a few of the guests, I think all of the guests actually before you all also had that same reasoning why they went the self-published route. A couple of them created their own self-publishing company. And now they're looking to bring other authors on to their brand. In the chat right now, I have Amanda Chambers, who was our very first guest and owner and CEO of Divine Legacy Publishing. I'm going to later on in the broadcast, I'm going to show quite a few of the books that Divine Legacy Publishing actually has in Legacy BookBar. So shout out to Amanda and Divine Legacy. I think you guys are at 6 or 7 authors that are signed to the store. So kudos to the good work that Amanda and her team are doing at Divine Legacy Publishing. So you got the book. You started, you decided, erotica chose me. And then you found yourself a self-publishing company and they helped you get going, right?
Well, the way that worked, as many self-publishing companies that are out there. What drew me, because I'm a Divine Legacy, you know that. But what drew me to Amanda was not everyone can handle the genre I write. So when you're writing erotica in the way that I write it, you have to have someone with the opening of mind to read it and take it for what it is, and not try to tone it down or make it taboo or make you. I wanted it exactly how I wanted it, and Amanda did. And from that point forward, where our relationship began, it was like, okay, she took my hand and held me through the whole process.
Gotcha. Okay. And Amanda is great with that because I work with her as well on a different aspect of the business writing, and I love her. She is the best. So if you are an aspiring author, if you have a story that might need some editing, you're looking to rebrand it, please check out www.divinelegacypublishing.com. Amanda Chambers and team will take very, very good care of you. And then once the book is up and running, guess what? You'll come right back to me and we'll get you sold in the store. So keep that in mind for any of my aspiring authors. So if you are watching this broadcast, make sure you share, tag any of your friends to let them know that there are 2 homes for you. So let them know. So outside of Divine Legacy and working with them, what were some of your resources that you used to get up and running?
They were the primary as far as business wise is concerned, because I was clueless. I found someone, I went through different spaces and didn't find one that was compatible. But once I got her, I said, Amanda, I need a cover. I went on Facebook and found a person to do the initial cover. But going forward, my logo and everything else were all referrals because she knew what I needed even when I didn't know what I needed. She gave me a list. This is what you do. This is how you brand. This is how you set yourself up. This is how you go to a book event. So I have a few outside things that I found to do myself, but the majority of them I found through Amanda, who has been my life-saving blessing some days when I didn't know what I was doing. So
I get that. And I have learned in this book industry, it is about as cutthroat and deep as any professional sport. Trying to make it into the music industry, it is just that tough. So definitely, especially when you're, I think, going the self-published route, finding someone that you can trust that's going to have that same passion and zeal for this industry is key when you are just starting out. So I totally understand. So now let us talk about this year, the exploration of her. Let's talk a little bit about this book.
Okay.
How, why? Oh, girl.
I got divorced and was flailing around to try to figure out who I was. I got married at 18, got divorced at 31. And after that, I had to kind of learn myself all over again. Talking to other women and having, different conversations, I realized how many of us in certain ways, especially when it comes to our sexuality. And I'm a Southern girl. I was born in Florida, then I lived in Tennessee, all Southern. So you didn't let your mind go but so far because it was still taboo in a lot of ways. Right. And with that book, it was, no, it's really not. We're grown. When we get in our late 30s, early 40s, we start our peak. We need to understand that this is not something that you need to shy away from and be ashamed of. This is who we are. And be proud of who you are. Let your mind go. You may not physically do it, but you darn sure go think about it.
Absolutely. Karen put in the chat, steamy. So she was with me at the book soiree in 2019, and she purchased a copy of your book. And driving home, we were cracking up. And I was like, I know she did not. And she did. But it was great. It was a really good book. We talked about it on the way back. It was definitely a page turner.
But that was the goal. I wanted people to talk about it.
Okay. And so tell us, because I know you and I talk. So you have a disclaimer when you give people your book.
I am not responsible for what you do for Children Made, for hospital visits, none of that. I am not responsible for none of it when you read the book, because I'm telling you up front, it's dirty. So I'm not responsible. I'm not.
Yeah. So if you are just tuning in, I have author Michelle Warren of the book titled The Exploration of Her. This is erotica short stories. It is graphic. It is detailed. It's a little steamy, so a little dirty, just a little bit. Her words, not mine. So this is definitely for the grown folks, okay? Not the new grown folks, the grown folks, okay? It's a difference. And if you're watching this broadcast, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So,
my mom said that. She said, this is not for the playground.
It's not for the playground. No. And May said, read at your own risk. Absolutely.
Amanda does that, and she tells people, do you have your birth control?
Yes. So, I had to read that on the way home before I got back to my husband. So, yeah. So
I mean, we done had another bush coming around. You've been good.
Child, use a whole lot. A whole entire.
But your husband would have enjoyed you reading that book, though. It would have been the joy that he would have received.
I'm going to finish the rest of that comment when we end the show. I ain't going to be able to. One of the comments said, have a boo or your toy close by.
Right.
Pretty much. I got nothing for that. So I know now for me, everyone knows me as me, not necessarily the bookstore owner, but as me. Know that I am an avid reader and I read all genres. Romance is typically my favorite and my go-to, and then it'll branch off into erotica and then any other genres, and then you wrap it around romance. I'm good to go. But I have learned that now, being a bookstore owner, that I don't know if it's marketing or the audience themselves, but they tend to find erotica like taboo. And I'm like, this is a complete 2020. Like, this, why sway? This should not be at this point.
That's one of the reasons I wrote it, because it is still considered taboo, especially for women. to reach out and understand themselves. The whole first section talks about self-care in a whole special way. But do you know how many women could honestly say they never, and be really totally serious? There are women who are in their 40s and 50s and have never had a true orgasm. I mean, it's a wow factor when you realize that so many people have been taught that it's not good to talk about it, or it's not. And you look at our girls, because it goes into our girls, because we weren't taught to talk about it. We don't tell it to them. And then we wonder why they're taken advantage of, or why they're so wild. Who told them anything? Who gave them this knowledge? Who, some you always have those couple of aunts though, who always gonna tell them, girl, let me tell you what you do. And right. But they honest. But then people wonder, those ones have the most well-rounded kids, because they may have been saying a little stuff, a little crass sometimes, but you couldn't pull nothing over on their kids because they told the honest to God truth about it. And that's the generation we're in need to know. Mm-hmm. But they need to be open-minded.
Absolutely. I think especially in this day and age, kids are exposed to so much so young and so early, that they feel like what they see and what they hear on TV, on YouTube, and is the way that it's supposed to be, because that's what's marketed. And not always what's marketed is what's the absolute truth. So I definitely feel like we should be teaching our girls the healthy and responsible way that you can learn and know your own sexuality, and it's okay.
But the first part of that I had to understand was getting the adults out of their shell. So mine is meant for, I have the paddles and we're doing the shock. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I'm shocking them. I want you to understand that these things are happening whether you want to believe it or not. So you have a choice now. Mm-hmm. And if it makes you feel like this at 45 years old, imagine what it's doing to your 15-year-old when they experience it.
Absolutely.
You have the maturity to not act on it, but they don't.
Absolutely. I commend you for taking the mantle and not being afraid to share and showcase your talent for weaving together a story to make women think, and I'm not gonna lie, for my guys, it's a learning tutorial. I would get it. Might learn some things. A little 2 cents. That's just from me.
I've had a couple guys tell me that, actually.
Yeah. So Amanda said, I told her the same thing, no babies around here. We're not doing that anymore. Shop is closed. No, sir.
Amanda was the first one to go get her pills refilled. She's reading that thing of mine too. So
right. May Washington said, sad but a true fact. Self-care is the absolute best care. We are all adults. If you don't know yourself, if you don't know your own body, how can you teach your spouse what it is that you like? Mm-hmm. And and if you don't, or if you haven't figured it out, that might be another episode. We just come back to that.
But you know what? But you find a lot of women who don't, and when they get older, they can't figure out. It is when they start hitting that peak and they start testing boundaries outside, and then they figure out, and then people want to talk about them because you got this 45-year-old and this 29-year-old, this 20-year-old. Well, right now, their drives are matching. Guys peak at 19, 20, women in there 35 to 45. So right now, they're matching. He can keep up with her. Mm-hmm. They on the same wavelength right then. And it's a newness because she ain't felt like that before.
Right.
Because the husband did all his dirt and he done with it, where she's just now figuring out, now, wait a minute, if you do that, this feels like that. So So book one was generally meant to give a taste of different types because it's broken up into 5 sections.
Okay.
The first one is self-care. The second one is him. It's called him. The third section is called her, because we dip off to the other side for a little bit.
Right.
Fourth section is a group. It's them.
Okay.
And that's fun. But the last one, and sometimes my most entertaining section is playtime, because then I touch on some of the things that mama wouldn't have told you. Some of that underground stuff, a little taste of what it's like to have someone controlling you in the midst of a sexual experience, or what it's like to be on stage in the midst of. So I try to take it to a whole different place so that you can kind of see it as if you're a spectator sitting there watching, like, wait, this is unfolding in front of me.
Okay. So I'm sure everyone is watching. We're getting a lot of viewership. So I'm hoping everyone that is tuning in is definitely sharing this grown folk conversation tonight. Everyone knows that, again, you can purchase The Exploration of Her at www.legacybookbar.com. For my local people, I'm going to be at pop-ups this weekend. So if you want to get this book in person and not wait for shipping, listen to the end of the broadcast and I will tell you where I will be. So we were not afraid to step into this exciting world of erotica. You come across an author, another female or male, and they tell you, hey, Michelle, I read your book. I really want to write in this genre. What advice do you have for this new author?
One thing I would tell them is something that was given to me. It was told by another author that I follow. You have to have a little bit of a thick skin when dealing with erotica, because you're going to have people who are going to disapprove because they don't see why you should talk about this, and they're so, oh, this is not right. And they're going to have some sort of comment, especially since I span everything. They're going to have a comment. They're going to have an opinion, and you have to know how to just take it. And they're not the end all be all. There's one person that just, but you're going to have a few that's going to just really have a strong opinion, and naysayers. It's one of the things.
Gotcha. Okay.
The second thing I would say would be, if you're going to write this way, let it flow. Stop trying to live up to everybody else's expectations. Just make it a picture. Make it be what it's going to be.
Okay. So I'm hoping you guys are listening. So if you can actually take this advice for any genre that you are looking to start in. Don't be afraid of the naysayers. Have a thick skin and be yourself. Which I want to say that was really the theme from the other guest, where we kind of just summed it up with just be your authentic self. Put your words on paper and write your story, and then let the editors do what they do. And I want to say this is probably going to be a growing theme as we talk with more and more authors on the Sip and Chat. So I would think that your biggest success would be the publication of The Exploration of Her. So, of course, with any success, you're bound to have a few failures. Have you had any in your journey of writing your stories?
Nothing major. I just have had those naysayers or those criticizers that are going to say their thing, and they're going to have their opinion, and you have those people that are going to be there, and sometimes they're your relatives and who you think are friends. So that's going to be one of the things that you're going to have to deal with in the midst of. There's some people in my life that still haven't read it, but I had to be okay with that.
Okay.
And it wasn't that they didn't read it because they were offended by it. They just were that type of people. And once you get yourself around that and you understand that's just who they are, you be okay. Those are the major failures that you feel, because everything else you can kind of shake off, but those are the ones that you feel a little bit deeper for the people who you love or you say they love you.
Mm.
And
Yeah. I mean, I think any person that has decided to step into the world of being an entrepreneur has probably had some gut punches from people they thought were in their corner. And I have had a few. And then I've looked at it where I've had complete strangers be so enthusiastic and excited about my vision that I'm like, wow, this is like, you see it too. You no, I just think what you're trying to do is so amazing. And it kind of is that bomb from when you don't get it from the people you expect. And I like yourself, I've kind of had to bear that brunt and swallow a couple of pills, like, and then but keep it moving, because in the grand scheme of things, a few people here and there is not going to stop your train momentum.
Exactly.
Not. I always joke around and I say, the train I'm on is for me. If you want to get on my train, hop aboard, but I'm not going to stop my train for anyone else. And I've had to kind of live by that in this, year and a half process, maybe 2 years, when I decided to open a bookstore. One thing I have learned from Amanda, where he told me when I took her classes, was stop telling people stuff. Like, she was like, stop telling. He was like, when you launch, then you tell. She's like, you want to throw out a couple of feelers, but people aren't going to get it. And I didn't understand it, because I'm like, no, I want to doing something great.
Oh, I took that to heart. Most of people didn't know that I was writing a book until it was published. Half my family didn't know until I was sending them up. Let's see, y'all go buy my book. What book? The one I wrote and it's published. Yeah, it's been out for a month. That's when they found out I was even writing.
Yeah. So it's
not, I had to do that to protect my heart and my feelings. The most support I got, my mom was a great supporter, my sister, but my sorority sisters came through. All those other people who say they're going to do this or do that, when it came out to it, my very first event that I went to was the first Divine Legacy soiree. And, everybody said, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And I was like, yeah, okay. I thought she forgot. And my sorority sister, my line sister, says, okay, what time we leaving again? I was like, oh, you coming for real? You going somebody? You gonna go for real? It was an experience to know who really had your back. And it's like, now I have a few of them that even if they can't physically be there, they're going to be on the call and says, hey, I got you, what you need me to do and whatever. So when I was talking about doing a conference earlier this year, they're the ones who say, I'll be in a day early. What you need me to do, put me to work. I got you.
But then COVID, so
COVID messed everything up. But I'm it's okay, because I'm gonna try for next year, be bigger and better. We're gonna go for that for next year, and that's gonna be a whole different ball game.
Absolutely. No, I get it. My advice to anyone that's listening, that is thinking about becoming an entrepreneur or becoming a writer, don't be afraid of your vision, because your vision is your vision. It's not anyone else's. So don't be upset when people don't get it, don't see it, and don't think it's a good idea, because it's not for them. But for you, it is a great idea, and go for it. I know a lot of people were, when I first said, oh, I'm going to open up a bookstore, and it was like, what? It's Amazon. Why would you? Ma'am, I'm not Amazon. But just like it's a McDonald's, just like it's a Burger King, just like it's a Popeyes and a KFC, people like options. And having a small, independent, Black-owned bookstore in Baltimore, Maryland is options for people that don't want to go to Barnes & Nobles, don't want to necessarily always order from Amazon. People have options to be able to spend their money and support where they chose. So here we are 2 years later, and we got a whole podcast. We got authors,
and my side note, my side plug, I'm going to say, outside of this, I'm also doing a nonprofit. So I'm also working on that, Her Freedom, and it's all about women and doing the things it takes to empower women, going back to the basics of stuff they're no longer teaching these babies and these girls no more, and how to survive and how to be strong and how to, just get through life. So it's a lot that I'm working with. That's why that conference, because I wanted to talk about these things. Let's have conversations. Let's be each other's sister. And while we're here, it's all about self-care.
Absolutely. Well, when you are ready and you get some more information and some firm dates, please let Legacy BookBar know so we can post. If no scheduling conflicts happen, Legacy BookBar will be there in support.
Yes.
So I was ready, and I was like, "Oh, but COVID." Wait,
right. We was ready. I had all these people on standby because we wanted to talk and have those sit down conversations and say, "Sister girl, let me talk to you about it. I've been where you at." And then you see in the news everything going on, and so yeah. So I'm working on the next 2 books.
Ooh, so is it a sequel or is it like a standalone by itself?
Well, I'm working on 2 simultaneously. For some strange reason, I thought that was a good idea. Don't ask me why.
I'm going to let you do that.
Yeah, because she knows I'm crazy. So, she just like, okay, she just went with it. One is a sequel to that one. I have to take it to another level.
Okay.
I have to switch some things around and introduce some stuff. Make you feel, I need to make you just feel all kind of special inside.
I love
make
that.
You just feel special inside.
Your own personal fan, guys, if you get the book, okay?
That's the exploration continues. But then I'm also working on a book that's a very standalone, same characters. However, it's not about their sexuality. It's about them, the definition of her. And with the definition, I want to talk about in that book what it is women go through as an everyday person. I want to talk about those things that define us as women, carrying our children, miscarriages, relationships, taking care of our parents who once took care of us, just all kinds of things that we still to this day as women, especially Black women, do not talk about. We do not have those conversations. And some of the reasons we're having heart attacks and strokes is because we don't sit down and have these conversations. We carry the weight of the world. So the next 2 books are geared towards just different ways of, one is very dirty.
You heard that, guys. You heard it here, okay?
Very dirty. And the other one is going to be very realistic. So there should be no surprise, nothing, because I don't hold punches. I don't know. Amanda will tell you, I don't hold punches. It's no use. It doesn't do me no good.
Right.
Plus, I get a much better reaction out of you when I don't hold them.
Absolutely. So we got some more comments. Welcome, Shakia Pitt. She said, laugh out loud. I love her. Talking about this character in the story. Nay Washington said, can't wait. And talking about your, in response to your 2 books. Amanda Thomas, welcome to the broadcast. She said, I love the book. We have Karen McDowell that said, looking forward to the new book. And disclaimer, that's my mom, and she's here every Friday night.
Hey, mama.
So what I tell you guys, my mom is my biggest fan when it comes to Legacy BookBar. So every book, and when I say every book that comes into the store, my mom legit is like the best customer because she's like, all right, what you get in today? What you get?
I remember because you looked at mama kind of sideways when she bought the book. And
I mean, hey, my mama the one that got me to reading, so I was like, okay, sis, you gonna get one, I'm gonna get one. We're gonna read it together, but don't start before me. So I was totally okay with it.
Then y'all got into it. Y'all like the mama. But it sparks conversations. That's usually the fun thing. Some things you probably didn't want to know about your mom's life.
The fact that her and my dad is still together, I'm like, oh, please just take all of the wheels of the car. I love you, Mom. I love you, Dad. You guys are great.
Trust me, it's fun because I had people who couldn't look me in my face after they read the book. They couldn't look me in my face. Like, I would have never thought you would, but you don't look like the time. Hey, how y'all doing?
So I think tonight, because we have so many people actually commenting on the broadcast tonight, if you're listening, I want you to drop some questions into the chat, and then I will ask them to author Michelle Warren. If you guys can get them in time, give you a few minutes, think of some good questions, and I'm going to ask a few more. So when I see the questions pop up, we will answer them as we see them. Shakia said, "That's me." She's talking about me.
Yeah, she couldn't look me in the face for about. She's one of my coworkers. She couldn't look me in the face. She says, "But Miss," and she just couldn't look me in my face for about 2 weeks without giggling. It was just like she's like, I never thought.
All right, so Shakia, I'm gonna send you some smelling salts because when that book 2 hit. We don't read it at work though, okay? Like,
she didn't read it at work. She needed my warning. She read it at the house.
Right. Don't do that because don't pass out at work. So we're gonna send you some smelling salts, okay? So outside of legacybookbar.com, let the audience know where can they find you.
Okay, so on Facebook, it's author Michelle Warren.
Okay.
For Instagram is author M Warren.
Okay.
Twitter is M Warren 2015. Bless my heart. I don't do Twitter that much, guys. Don't go Twitter first. That's gonna be your last one. Let's be real. I'm being honest. Facebook is your best best match. So those are the two primary. My email is authormichellewarren@gmail.com. You can always email me, and our website is www.michellewarren.net. So anyway, you hit me up, even if you send a message through the website, all of it comes to me, and I'm here and ready.
So, okay, guys, I posted where you on Facebook and on her Gmail if you want to send her an email, follow her on Facebook. So if you are just tuning in today, I have author Michelle Warren. So I know some of you are probably good friends and family of Michelle Warren, and you're like, who is and what is Legacy Book Bar? Who, what, why, where? So let me give you a quick rundown on who, what, where, and why Legacy Book Bar is where they are. So my name's Menina, and I'm the owner of Legacy Book Bar. Legacy Book Bar is an online bookstore based here in Baltimore, Maryland. It is an online bookstore that caters to, but not exclusive to, Black self-published authors in all genres. So if you are an aspiring author, you already have books out, and you are looking to have another place to have your work showcased, outside of your own personal website or Amazon, please feel free to reach out to me at info@legacybookbar.com. So Michelle Warren is a self-published author, and she has self-published her work through Divine Legacy Publishing. So Divine Legacy Publishing and the owner, Amanda Chambers, has graciously allowed a few of her authors to have their books sold in the store. So tonight, I'm actually going to show a few of the books from Divine Legacy Publishing, because without them, they were probably the first 5 to 6 authors that actually signed. So when I launched the bookstore and we hit publish on February the 1st, which happened to be the start of Black History Month, they were some of the first authors that was in the store. So, of course, we're always going to talk about the author of the night. So, we definitely have the exploration of her. I have the newest author from Divine Legacy. I have Bree Lynette. They Told Me to Love My Abuser. I cannot wait to have her on the broadcast and for her to be part of the virtual book club so we can have a really good in-depth conversation about this particular book. Of course, I would be remiss if I didn't feature the owner and CEO of Divine Legacy, Amanda Chambers, as author Serendipity. This is book 2 of a series, Rocking Cheyenne. Book 1 is Ember's Flame. I have, Rashida Jackson from Pillars to Commandments. I have Simone Miller, The Life and Legacy of Lear Green. And finally, but not complete, I have Nikki Charis and A Twisted Love. So these authors, you can find them at legacybookbar.com. So we actually have a question in the chat from one of the guest audience. I have, what has been your biggest challenge and greatest accomplishment when trying to put what's in your head on paper?
Challenge is so much of it. You have all these different directions you go in and different emotions tied to it. So trying to figure out which line to follow first, so to say, so to speak, is one of those really, really great things that you have to kind of figure out. Greatest accomplishment was that I have a story that's coming out of definition where I was able to pour out everything and put in words what my mouth couldn't say. What I couldn't verbally voice to someone and tell them where I was and where the pain was. But I was able to put it on paper and tell you this journey from A to Z. Part of it is mine, part of it isn't. But it was enough that I was able to pour it. But even in my personal journal, for me to pour a situation very close to me, like I have a story about miscarriage. So the Chrissy Teigen and John Legend is very close to me because I've had a miscarriage in 2006. And when you're able to talk about it and able to put it down and write it, and I gave voice to the words that were there, that's when you are at a great point in your life, because when you lose a baby, that's devastating pain. And when you get to the point where you can not only accept it in your own mind, but put it out where someone else can read it, you're in a special place of healing.
Yeah, I commend you, as well as Chrissy and others who have been able to publicly share their pain when it comes to miscarriages. And I feel for celebrities, in my opinion, are always put on this pedestal like nothing can ever happen to them because it's always the glitz and the glamour. And then when something tragic happens, it's always, well, what did you do? And why did you, this doesn't happen in real life. So I hope that the women that follow the story understand that you are not alone if this has also happened to you.
And I've heard some very negative stuff about prison, about them and their lifestyle, and it hurts because no matter what their lifestyle is or is not, no woman should ever have to have the experience of losing a life that you've carried. Because when you feel it moving and you're bonded with it, when you lose that life, that's a pain like no other.
Absolutely. I totally get it. If anyone else has any other questions really quick to put in the chat, we want to make sure that we give everyone an opportunity to have questions asked. So Michelle, I've had you here for almost an hour. You were amazing. Good representation of yourself and Divine Legacy Publishing. I know Amanda is watching and is like, do me proud. So
right. Because I'm gonna get a phone call, right?
We're both gonna get phone calls tonight, there. We're both getting them tonight. It's all right though. So I always ask, yeah, you know what, Shakia, this is a great question, and I was remiss and I didn't ask this myself. Do you have a date for the next book?
I don't have a hard date because it's been a work in progress. 2020 has been a hell of a year. So
Right.
I'm working on some things. So I don't have a hard date yet, but we're hoping by January. I'm hoping by January.
Okay, we're gonna set the new year off right, y'all. I hope you are ready. So the end of the night, at the end of the broadcast, I always ask my guests this one question. After your years on this planet and this years in this industry, you sit back and you think, what do you want your legacy to be?
The legacy I'm hoping to create is a legacy of love and openness. I want women to be able to commune together and be a strength for each other because we're the backbone of the families. Here, our spouses may be the breadwinner or the lead, but we're the backbone. And we have to be able to be there for each other to raise our children. So my legacy is I want our daughters to be better than we are. I want them to know who they are and be strong in themselves. I didn't get that when I was younger. I'm growing into it as I got older. And as I see our younger generation, I want them to learn that while they're young.
Understood. I think that's commendable.
And be strong in themselves.
Commendable. I 1000% agree. So thank you so much for being here tonight with us. I love it. You were great. Hang out with us for a little bit. So you guys, the audience was amazing. Thank you so much for the questions and the feedbacks and the chat. We so greatly appreciate it. I hope you guys share the broadcast with your family and friends. So Legacy BookBar is always on the road. You know, we just because we're online, we never stand still. We want as many people to be able to see and appreciate all of the hard work that these authors have put into these wonderful stories. So this weekend, if you are local or in the DMV area, I will be at White Marsh Mall from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. hosting my monthly pop-up at the mall. So the exploration of her, as well as several other books, will be available at the pop-up. You come, you purchase, you walk away with your book. I will be located right in front of White Barn and Bath and Body Works on the bottom floor. Sunday, actually, I will be at the Baltimore Black Book Expo at Gwinnett Park. So if you miss me Saturday, come out and support the Baltimore Black Book Expo on Sunday from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. So you get another opportunity, but you know me, I never stay home. I'm always on the go. If by chance you miss those two events, you got one more opportunity. October 10th, I will be back at White Marsh Mall with our books in front of Bath and Body Works. So I'm always on the go. You always see me. I always have my books. Now, let's say, due to COVID sensitivity, I totally understand. You are more than welcome to purchase any of the books you saw tonight, or you go on the website and look at www.legacybookbar.com. Now, it is Halloween time. It's October. So we actually have listed a shop code for you if you purchase a book under paranormal, fantasy, and sci-fi. So if those are genres that you like, or you're just willing to try a new author, check out those books and you can use that shop code and get 10% off your purchase. So if you were on the call last night, I had author Elena Simone of Concrete King. So we told you that in September, we weren't able to do her virtual book club because of some technical difficulties we were having with Zoom. So we're bringing her back to the virtual book club on October 17th. So if you didn't have an opportunity to purchase or purchase her book or get on the call, you have one more shot. We'll be there October 17th. Here's a copy of her book, The Concrete King. This book is $10. And again, you can purchase it on the website, or you can meet me at any one of the listed pop-ups on my website, on my social media pages, and you can get the book before the pop-up. Now, October is going to be a busy month between the pop-ups and October 17th. I already had October book clubs ready to go. So Legacy Book Bar will actually be having 3 virtual book clubs. We're going to be very busy, guys. So you can register for any of the 3 listed book clubs on our website. Now you're thinking, well, she only talked about one book club. What's the other 2? Well, the other 2 I have is Alabama Sunrise, which I have here. This one we're going to be talking about on October 24th from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. with the author on the call, Gerald Johnson. Then for my peeps that love Halloween, they love this time of year, I couldn't leave them out. So we're doing a Halloween theme book club. That one will be Dead Heat with Ren Thompson. So I've read a little bit of this book, and I want to say it's kind of like Law and Order meets The Walking Dead, sort of, kind of. Very entertaining, very intriguing. So again, if you're interested in any of the things we have talked about tonight, please feel free to visit that website. And that website again is www.legacybookbar.com. If you enjoyed our broadcast, remember you can follow author Michelle Warren on her Facebook page at author Michelle Warren. And then you can follow Legacy Book Bar on all 3 social media sites at Legacy Book Bar for Facebook and Instagram, and then L Book Bar on Twitter. Michelle, thank you again so much for being here tonight. I want to give a special shout out to my Empowered Women in Business International organization. I love you, and I am here for anyone that needs it. Shout out to the CEO and founder of Empowered Women in Business, Nicole Mosby Taylor, and my chapter president, Nakia Harvey. You guys were great. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be back next Friday. And next Friday, I'm going to have Donna Michelle Ramos of Chocolate in the City, books 1 and 2. So be back next Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You guys have an awesome and amazing night. Have a great weekend. Hopefully, I will see some of you tomorrow. And you guys stay safe out there in them COVID streets, okay? If you need me, I'm always around. You guys have a great night.